Okay, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go through the setup of discussions, how to evaluate discussions, and everything discussion related. Okay, so discussions can be used when you want to have a sort of classroom discussion online. Okay, you can have kids discuss specific topics, opinions. You can have them discuss whatever it is that you would like them to discuss. You can evaluate these and put them in the grades. You can have it as a communication based thing. You can have it as a evaluative mark based assignment, whatever it is that you want. So I'm going to first start by setting up a discussion. So when you click the discussion icon, you are taken to this page and it gives you the discussion list. Okay, as of right now, we have not created any discussions in our course. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new and I'm going to create a forum. Okay? A forum is basically a unit. So what I try and do is I try and match every forum with every unit that I have in the content section of my course. So let's call this unit 1 because I put a unit 1 in there. If you want, you could have a topic with the unit 1 as well. You don't have to. In the description, you can write a description about what's occurring in the unit if you would like, and that description is viewable to all users. You don't have to. I've never written a description. Okay? Now, you can allow anonymous posts. If you allow an anonymous post, you won't be able to obviously tell who posted it. That might be challenging for you to evaluate when you don't have the name of the student. Otherwise, their name will be attached to every post that they make. A moderator must approve individual posts before they display them in the forum. That means that you have to read every single post before it goes up. Now, some people may be concerned with what is going to be posted depending upon the topic of your discussion. I could tell you that I've never had anything that I thought shouldn't have been posted. So nothing that was terrible. There's been instances where personally I thought some people might have overshared, but there's nothing that's been bad or that I would be overly concerned about. Okay. What I usually tell kids is remember that whatever you're writing in the discussion forum, everybody can read. And then for the most part, they're pretty good. Okay. Users must start a thread before they can read and reply to others' threads in each topic. So this avoids cheating. So if you were like me when you took an online course, oftentimes if I was overwhelmed with the amount of reading, I would go and read every discussion thread and then generate an opinion and then write my own opinion. If you want to avoid that, you might want to check this. So they would have to write their own discussion thread to start before anything can be posted. You can also check these in every individual discussion as well, but if you want to do it for the overall forum, then you could do it here. Okay, so you can either save and close or save it out of topic. So I'm just going to save and close for now, and that'll show us that we have unit 1 and then we don't have any discussions. Okay, next we're going to put a new topic. So the topic is where you actually would go to post. Okay, it's going to ask you to choose a forum. You could create a forum in here if you wanted to, or you could create your forums like we already did before. So I'm going to pick unit 1 and I'm going to put the title as discussion 1, introductory activity. Okay. In this, you're then putting what you want them to do in the discussion. So create a thread and identify a symbol to represent yourself and also provide a small biography about yourself. Okay, then here's where you go. You can do this. Anonymous, moderator, start the thread. if that's what you want. We already went over those in the create a forum. I don't do any ratings. Now, before I press save and close, I'm going to take you to some other things. So restrictions, if you click the restrictions option, it automatically makes this visible. So if you don't want to make it visible for the kids, you would check this, okay? You can have a start date and an end date. If you have a start date, that means that the discussion will open at that specific time. And then obviously if you end it, the discussion will close at that specific time. If you decide to have an end date, nobody will be able to make any posts after that date and time. And then you would therefore allow to display that in a calendar if you selected those. You could also choose to, it generates an unlock of the topic. You could also unlock the topic for a specific range as well. It's the same thing here as the availability, okay? You could put restrictions in there. I don't really usually create restrictions, okay? You could restrict this topic and add groups and add sections. So if you only wanted a certain amount of people to participate in this discussion, you could limit it there, okay? Then you can go over to the assessment option. Your assessment option is where you would either create your grade item or select from a predetermined menu. So what I mean by that is choose your grade item. So if you have created some things before, we created these in our grades tutorial, okay? So they're already there. So if nothing is attached to that, you could select this as well and have that, okay? Or you could go ahead and you could select a new grade item. And if you put in a new grade item, you'd put the numeric, you could put the name of the discussion, okay? You could add, you don't have to add the short name. You would have to select a category. These categories all come through your grades. So if you haven't gone through and created grades in D2L, you won't be able to have an assessment piece in your discussion, okay? So you would select that, you can put the points, you could put the default, you could hide the same thing, you can have the restrictions, you can put it all up there. I'm gonna cancel that. We've already made one, so I'll just put the introductory discussion in here. We made it out of 20, okay? If you wanted a rubric, you could do that as well, okay? Objectives, if you really wanted to create objectives, you could add a learning objective and you could browse it, you could search it, you look at available, you could add like a curriculum expectation if you would like to, okay? I don't necessarily do that, all right? But I press save and close. And now you have your discussion here. For you, it will tell you how many threads there are and how many posts there are. Every time a child posts to the discussion, then you will get a notification on your homepage as well, okay? So this is in here, this is in the menu. What you could also do is you could also go into the content section and you could add a new file and you could title it discussion introductory activity, okay? And you could do whatever you want. You could do the overview and learning goals if you would like. You could have the content. You could have the assignment, whatever you put there, okay? What I usually do is I usually do the same thing in here. That I try and be consistent with what I create. So for in the assignment, excuse me, I would outline exactly what the discussion is, right? So create a thread and post a symbol that represents yourself. And then so on and so forth, okay? Also, then I provide a link here. So in here, when you go to insert the quick link, you get the menu that we've seen before. If you went to the and went through the add content tutorial, you have discussions. So you can click this link now, and then it gives you all the forums that you've created, and then within the forum, it gives you all of the discussions there. What I do is you could create a new discussion topic here if you would like as well. So depending upon how you want to go about this, you could. I do it the other way. Okay. I click this, make sure what you type here is what will show up on the screen. I make sure that it's always new window so they navigate to a new tab, and it makes the navigation easier. You press insert, okay, and you save and close. And then what will happen is they have two ways to access the discussion now. They can access it from the discussion menu, or they can go ahead and they can click this, and it takes them to the discussion thread while also still having the other tab open. Okay, so that's a navigation piece that I would suggest. You absolutely don't have to do that. Then, what does marking discussions look like? So I'm going to show you what marking discussions look like, okay? So I'm going to grab another course that I've done some discussions in, okay? I'm going to go into the discussion and I'm going to select this discussion here. So I'm now in the discussion thread, okay? This explains to me what is happening. Now, if I would like to respond to the student and have everybody be able to see what I responded, so that would probably be to me participating in the discussion. Then I would select the child's post, okay? And then I'd go down and I would reply to the thread. Once I reply to that thread, that is part of this discussion in this thread, and I could engage in an online discussion with the student, okay? If I wanted to mark and provide feedback where only the student could see, there's multiple ways to do this. You can do it within the thread as well. So you could click the thread and you could go down to the drop-down menu of the student and you could assess the topic, okay? That's one way. So what'll happen is you assess the topic. This comes up and it's published, and you're good to go. You could assess the student as well, where you will get the drop-down menu of just the student. Okay. I've already marked this, that's why this is not working the way that I would like it to, but that's what you could do, okay? But in your topic, what I choose to do is I go down and then I assess the topic, okay? Then what happens is in here you get this menu, you can click assessments, all right? And then what you do is you get a list of the kids. Now, this has been published a while ago, but what happens is when you click on a student's name, you get this window here. And in this window, it tells you how many threads the kid has created and how many replies that they've had. So what I mean by that is a thread means that they've posted their own opinion on something that you've made them do. So basically they did the discussion. Then sometimes you have a requirement for them to reply to people's threads so that you're creating an active online discussion. So it tells you the threads and the replies. And then down here, it lists it by the post. So the actual thread that they do, that's why it's up here at first. And then also then it does down below the responses that they had to other students. Okay, so you can see everything that they've done. Then in the general feedback, this is where you could type the feedback, whatever you would like to say, just to this specific student. And then you would click publish here after you put the mark. Whatever you write here shows up in the grades section for the student, and only they can see it, okay? So that's kind of how discussions are navigated and operated. They're a valuable tool for creating online discussions that can be challenging, Sometimes kids like to write as opposed to speaking out loud. So even if you're doing a class live, sometimes online discussions are helpful for them. Okay. You can make it a communication component of your course. You can use it however you wish, but those are some of the ways that you can use discussions inside your course.